Hello and welcome to LSJ Today. I'm Elliot Dalton.
And I'm Aaron Renfrew. Coming up on today's programme.
Leaked documents show that January waiting times in hospital A&E departments were at their worst levels on record.
The Islamic Association of Lincoln have praised a number of people who attended its open day last weekend.
And a little bit of magic. We've been speaking to Britain's Got Talent's Jamie Raven, who visited Lincoln last night. All that and more coming up on LSJ Today.
Jared, we'll come on to this statement in a second, but firstly, what's the context? Why have they issued this statement?
Well, yes, Aaron, as we've been seeing in the national news today, A&E waiting times are at their worst ever levels since a 4-hour target was introduced by Tony Blair's Labour government back in 2004. And the figures that are out today, if proved correct, and let's remember they're not official yet, it shows NHS England are failing to meet their own target of seeing 95% of patients within that 4-hour target. The current figure at the moment is way below that on 82%. So real dire figures at the moment.
As they've said in the statement there have been some problems locally. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, yes, Lincoln County Hospital, to be fair, like many hospitals across the country, have had their problems. They've been plagued about long waiting times in A&E. We've heard stories about ambulances queuing up outside, waiting to drop people off for hours as well. We've also had Grantham A&E closing at night time, which has caused a lot of problems for residents. But we've heard in the last couple of days, actually, that is being extended by an hour. So a bit of a problem solver there. But yes, United Lincolnshire Hospitals Trust have issued a statement today in response to these national figures. And LSJ contacted them. And Michael Woods, the interim director of operations, says this: over the last few months, we've seen a significant rise in demand on all of our A&Es. In line with the reported national pressures, we have experienced severe pressures over the last week, resulting in our inability to see, treat and admit patients as quickly as we would like. During these times, we always prioritise the sickest patients to ensure appropriate care is given. However, for some, this will mean that they will experience long waits, for which we apologise. He also went on to say the quality and safety of patient care is the Trust's #1 priority. So that's the latest from Lincoln County Hospital here just outside Lincoln.
Jared, thank you very much.
The Islamic Association of Lincoln has praised the number of people who took part in #Visit My Mosque last weekend. The Lincoln Mosque opened its doors to the public for the annual open day, where volunteers took time to educate adults and youngsters alike. Daniel Khan has more.
What is Islam? Well, that question and many more were answered in the recent Visit My Mosque Day, which took place around the country. In Lincoln's local mosque, volunteers answered questions and gave tours to over 200 visitors, double the number they had through the doors last year.
I think it's been advertised well. People have got confidence coming to the masjid. People feel good. It's not about only Islamic people. Whatever people have got in community, they come here. They can see what we do basically. So yeah, it's nice and open opportunity.
One thing I've learned today is you can't hold a Quran or any other religious book without doing something called wuzu, which you clean your hands, your arms and your feet. And to keep you on your toes, shoes are never worn in mosques. This is to prevent dirt from entering, but also to keep in touch with the theme of cleanliness. So just how did visitors feel about their visit?
It's very interesting. It opens your eyes a little bit. I've learned more in the past sort of 10 minutes about Islam than I've learned for my whole life.
It's very interesting. I said it's nice to come in because I think like a lot of religions, if you don't know about them, you don't want to go in case you do something wrong or offend somebody. So it's nice just to have an open day and find out.
Very rewarding, very enlightening, and an expression of what our mutuality as human beings and as seekers after God.
The Islamic Association also gave an update on when the first purposely built mosque should be complete, which is now estimated to be finished by the summer. So far, the association has spent well over £700,000, with just over that same figure available to pay for the next phase of construction. However, £300,000 is still needed to complete the mosque if it's to be ready for the Islamic celebration of Eid, which will be at the end of June. And despite what's happening across the Atlantic with Donald Trump and his so-called Muslim ban, the association aren't worried about an anti-Muslim feeling impacting Lincoln.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, even US court has ruled that is unconstitutional. So I think we're quite positive, and there is a lot of support from USA and in this country. So this is great. I think, I don't think what he's saying is right.
And for now, adults and kids alike will just use the mosque they have until the summer. Daniel Khan, LSJ Today, Lincoln.
The police, the NHS and support groups are teaming up to fight rape culture as part of National Sexual Abuse and Sexual Violence Awareness Week. The hashtags No More and Not Asking For It are running alongside the Awareness Week in order to encourage the public to talk openly about sexual abuse. Our reporter Becky Lancashire has this story.
Because I was drunk. Because I was wearing a short skirt. Because I was walking alone. And still not asking for it. These are all messages that members of the public have been writing on cards and sharing on social media in order to show their support for those who've been a victim of sexual abuse or violence. According to recent statistics, 85,000 women and 12,000 men are raped in England and Wales alone every year. That's 233 a day, 10 an hour, and almost 1 every 6 minutes. Sexual assault referral centres, like this one here in Lincoln, provide comprehensive services to men, women and children who've been raped or experienced any form of sexual abuse.
Spring Lodge was created 7 years ago because it was a national need for every area to have a specialist sexual abuse and violence centre, because prior to that time people that were reporting and going to the police station to talk to someone, which we didn't feel was very appropriate, we wanted to give them a safe and comfortable space to come and talk to people. It's often a subject that we don't like to talk about in society, although that has got better. I think it's the word, again, rape is not something people want to use or think about. And certainly, why would we? And if it's not happened to you or anyone you know, it isn't something we want to believe happens, but it does. And therefore, I think we need to be able to talk about it as a subject in society and know that it happens here and everywhere, and it can affect anyone of any sort of colour or age or race.
The Spring Lodge Centre has also recently received a grant from NHS England to install a sensory garden that its visitors can use.
The idea of the sensory garden is that it will apply to all the senses, so there's obviously the visual, but there's also the smell with the nice plants, the touch. We've got artificial grass, which actually feels lovely nowadays. It's a lot better than it used to be, artificial grass. We've also got a water feature, so the sound, the trickle of the water, and we've got areas for adults and for children, so we're hoping that that will just give a nice, safe, comfortable space to all.
Awareness weeks for rape and sexual abuse are running twice a year, with this one taking place from the 6th to the 12th of February. The aim of the day is to educate people about consent and to prevent further instances of sexual abuse in the future. Becky Lancashire, LSJ Today, Lincoln.
The last year has seen several shop closures on the high street, but is this the beginning of the end for stores in the city centre? The boarding up of BHS is just one of a few notable shops to close on Lincoln's High Street, but it's also been announced that Burton and Dorothy Perkins will be closing too. Aaron went to go and investigate earlier this week.
Once packed with staff and shoppers, now not even mannequins hold the shop floor. When BHS closed, it caused over 8,000 redundancies, 100 of them from Lincoln alone. The closures started after British Home Stores filed for administration last April. BHS was bought by billionaire Sir Philip Green in the year 2000 for £200 million, but he sold it last year to retail acquisitions for a mere £1. The company had been struggling with falling sales, and when the store collapsed, its pension scheme was said to have had a deficit of £571 million. It was announced last week that Sir Philip had given in to a demand for more than £350 million in an attempt to fix the BHS pension scheme. Nick Morgan started working at BHS 19 years ago as a 4-hour Saturday lad. The store saw him grow as he became a department manager, working in stores around the country, before returning to Lincoln in its final 8 weeks and becoming the last ever manager.
It's just such a real shame, particularly for a place like Lincoln. It occupies such a prime location, and with it being, it's been empty for 6 months and there seems to be no signs of anybody going in there. So I just think it's a bit of a blight on the high street, and I hope somebody takes that on soon and does something with it.
And now LSJ can confirm that Dorothy Perkins and Burton are set to close in Lincoln, posing the question, is Lincoln High Street soon going to become obsolete?
That's a natural cyclical thing that happens at this sort of time of year, January type February, when businesses move on, so to speak.
Is this truly the end of Lincoln High Street? Perhaps only time will tell. Meanwhile, in the city centre, Lincoln's coffee Aroma has said they will lose up to £400 per week. This comes after the county council has banned the shop having tables and chairs outside the cafe after 4 p.m. Our reporter, Natasha Ayrton-Burke, has more.
They call it coffee culture in Spain, Italy and France. Even in chilly Lincoln, I can experience cafe culture by sitting outside enjoying my coffee. And now, because of these new regulations set out by Lincolnshire County Council, customers of Coffee Aroma will only be able to enjoy their coffee inside after 4 p.m.
We've been to them, we've been to Lincoln Big, they support us, we've been to City Council, they support us, but the County Council, they're saying that they can't do anything, even though they've changed it up in the Bellgate, they changed it there, they've changed it around up the High Street, but they won't allow us to have a different thing, a different order.
We spoke to Lincolnshire County Council about this issue and they released this statement to us.
To ensure the safety of the public, the operating hours for pavement cafes along Guildhall Street are from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. as stipulated on the licences we issue. Guildhall Street is quite narrow and is used daily by vehicles for deliveries both in the morning and the evening, so the rule requiring the removal of outdoor tables and chairs by 4 p.m. is in place to ensure that there is enough space to accommodate vehicles, pedestrians and cyclists.
So unless the County Council change their regulation, this putting the tables and chairs away will stay a nightly ritual for Coffee Aroma. Natasha Ayrton-Burke, LSJ Today.
Still to come, the number of racist-related crimes has increased by 30% in the last 12 months.
Lincolnshire County Council has spoken out in a disagreement to claims that care services are at tipping point.
And in sport, Lincoln City prepare for their game against Woking this weekend.
Lincoln's renowned windmill is set to reopen once its sails have been repaired. Ellis Mill, which is managed by the Lincolnshire County Council, will relaunch after being out of action for a year. The heritage site is located on Lincoln Edge and dates back to the 18th century. It will continue to work and provide flour as soon as the sails have been fitted.
The City of Lincoln Council have announced that unregistered horses grazing on Lincoln Commons will be removed. Horses on the Commons will receive regular inspections after 5 unregistered animals were found. Notices have been placed around the shared areas which warn owners to follow the council's regulations or face losing their animal. The conditions include being a resident of Lincoln, obtaining a horse passport and having horses microchipped and checked over for diseases. And get ready to cast your votes as Lincoln residents get to choose the new design of a new sculpture in tribute to George Bull. Bull, who was born in 1815, is widely known as the forefather of the information age. It is his work that has formed the basis of computer science. Votes can be made in favour of Martin Jennings or Anthony Dufault's proposals for a bronze monument. This can be done at the City Hall or via the City of Lincoln Council's website. The number of racist-related crimes has increased by 30% in the last 12 months, an FOI request by LSJ Today has revealed. Lincolnshire Police believe the increase is down to more people having the courage to report the crimes, and that it doesn't necessarily mean the crimes themselves are increasing.
We've been looking to increase confidence in reporting because we are aware that there are people who are victim of all hate crimes, including racially motivated hate crime, that don't report to the police. So actually it shows that is working, because you'll see that there has been an increase in crime reporting. And where there's an increase in crime reporting, if we as the police are doing our job properly, you would expect to see an increase in arrests.
A warm rail has been built in Lincoln by a local community group. The rail holds coats, hats, gloves and scarves donated by the people of Lincoln. Naomi Harvey has more.
Compassionate Lincoln have built the city's first warm rail for anyone in need of the extra warmth. The rail holds coats and other garments donated by Lincoln residents and was inspired by similar projects around the country.
The idea is that people donate a coat, a jumper, something warm, something for the colder weather. They bring it along here and someone that needs it can help themselves to it.
The location of the rail sits between St Within's Church on Freescore Lane and the Lincoln Central Library. This choice of location was based on the two main factors which the group discussed thoroughly. They wanted the rail off of the high street to maintain the dignity of users, but close enough for people to walk there and donate items. The group are overwhelmed with the amount of support and donations they've received so far for the rail, and they hope that projects like this will inspire other people to help those less fortunate than us.
An idea like this, which is simple, which is by the community for the community, has real scope to make a difference. And I think if it's not this, then it could be something else. And we hope that people will be inspired by the simplicity of this idea and feel like an idea that they've got is worth pursuing. And if you put a call out, we know from this that people will get involved, people will help.
Naomi Harvey, LSJ Today, Lincoln.
Lincolnshire County Council have spoken out in disagreement to claims that care services are at tipping point. Managers of care homes in the county have warned that funding cuts and staff shortages are putting too much pressure on the system. Lee Rochford, a manager at a care home in Sleaford, said that support for services in the county is dire. The County Council disagrees.
No, I don't. I do think tipping point is a little excessive. I would agree that the social care market in Lincolnshire is under pressure, but I think it's important to bear in mind that what has happened in the social care market for the last 3 years would not represent a service in crisis. We've had as many homes open as we have had close. I think the biggest issue for us in Lincolnshire is the number of nursing homes that have deregistered and become residential homes because of a lack of availability of nursing staff to provide that nursing cover. That's one of our biggest issues.
And here's Samuel Gilbert with the latest entertainment news.
Thanks, Elliot. Having amazed Simon Cowell back in 2015, one of Britain's best magicians put his skills to the test last night in front of a Lincoln crowd. Britain's Got Talent runner-up Jamie Raven wowed the audience at the new Theatre Royal during his performance. And Aaron, you actually went along to the show, didn't you? So how was it?
Well, it was absolutely fantastic, Sam, and Jamie even did an exclusive trick for LSJ Today.
I'm joined by Britain's Got Talent finalist and veteran magician, Jamie Raven. Jamie, how are you tonight?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Good. I'm good, thank you. It's great to be in the presence of such a Magic Circle accredited magician.
An honour for me as well to be here in the lovely theatre in Lincoln. Yeah, we just finished the show, so yeah, thank you for coming.
Wow, and how did the show go? Was it
was brilliant. Yeah, everyone was really lovely. People were very friendly. I got to meet a lot of people here a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying we did a thing for the Match of the Day, the football, with the BBC. Magic of the Cup, they call it, and it was because Lincoln were playing Brighton, and I came up, met some of the players. So yeah, I'm a Tottenham fan at home, but now I keep an eye out for them as well. So yeah, they're my second favourite team.
So we've got a Lincoln Imps fan on there.
Big up, yeah, big time. Well, unless they get to the Premier League, then I'm going to have to drop them out. But fingers crossed, a few years' time they'll be there.
You never know. So Lincoln, what's your view on Lincoln? Have you enjoyed your stay here?
Yeah, I loved it. We popped out earlier to see the cathedral. I'm a big bit of a culture vulture, so yeah, I learned a long time ago the definition of a city is someone who has a cathedral. So if we ever come to cities, I always like to have a little look, take a little snap.
Genius and magician.
Climb up climb up the top of the cathedral, have a little look, and then here we are.
What did you think of steep hill? Did you click your fingers and appear at the top?
Basically, yeah, that's how it works out.
So, I've been told that you're going to do a little bit of LSJ News
I'd love
magic
to, yeah. I thought
for
as soon as I'm only here, because of where my journey started, I was on you said a show called Britain's Got Talent. I was really lucky. I came second, not the year just gone, but the year before that, and I used these banknotes on the show as Britain's Got Talent banknotes. Sadly, they're useless now. So I need to change these back into English sterling so that I can spend a bit later. I need your help. We need a magic word.
Okay.
Anything in the world except abracadabra. What would you like?
How about LSJ News?
Good for me, guys. On 3, can you see? 1, 2, 3. LSJ News. There is £250 in cash. 51, 50, 200. I will give you a chance to win the money.
Okay.
All you have to do is think of any letter in the English alphabet. Don't say it, just think. Have you got a letter in your head?
Yes.
Is it K?
X.
You lost. Sorry, mate. It was K I wanted. Sorry about that. Money's gone. I've never lost. I'm joking.
And finally, it's the return of my favourite film franchise. The premiere of 50 Shades Darker is taking place at Leicester Square in London tonight.
And now for the sport.
Manager Danny Cowley rested some regular starters, but it didn't hurt Lincoln City as the Imps ran out 3-1 winners away at Dwelling United in the FA Trophy last 16. The reward for Lincoln is yet another away tie in the competition.
Individuals, some real pace about them. They've got goals in their team. 2 good forwards, experienced midfield players that have played in the league, pace in wide areas. So no, we're very respectful of Oakham. They've been competitive in this division for a number of years now. We know we'll have to get our very best if we want to get on the right side of it.
As they have drawn against London's Boreham Wood, the cup tie will take place on Saturday, February 25th. Returning to league action this Saturday, the Imps will look to extend their 3-point lead at the top of the table as they face Woking, who are 19th in the league at Sincil Bank this weekend. Last Sunday's Super Bowl, which drew over 100 million viewers, saw the Patriots defeat the Falcons 34-28 in the first Super Bowl ever to go into an overtime period. A little closer to home though, Lincoln Colonials, the university's American football team, are doing well, having won their last game against DMU Falcons 30-0. They've now won 3 games and lost 2 this season.
Thank you very much, Rosie.
And now time for the weather with Laura Mulcahy. We'll try again with the weather with Laura
Tonight is
Mulcahy.
going to remain cold and cloudy with some scattered snow showers which are said to get heavier overnight. Tomorrow you best wrap up warm because it is going to be cloudy throughout the day with snow showers early morning and cold winds with temperatures only reaching 3 degrees. Laura Mulcahy, LSJ Today.
And that's all for today now. Remember to follow us on social media and find us on our website lsjnews.co.uk. Goodbye and good day.